Hello everyone, I'm Runispism, and welcome back to Let's Play Touhou Doom. This time we're going through episode 4 of Touhou Doom, A New Pristine Hell. So, last time we played, we were running through Gensokyo, warning everyone of the demon apocalypse and gathering the troops. But now the story is going to get a little bit more sparse, because we've done that, and now all that's left to do is to go into hell and stop the invasion. As for the gameplay of episode 4, it's quite a fair bit different from episodes 2 and 3. There's a lot of changes to talk about again. And the first most important one is that there's a secret hidden near the start of every level. In this case, man, I don't know how you're supposed to find this one. I had to read the readme for it, but you shoot the portal, then you turn around, move forward, swap away weapons slightly more conducive to fighting enemies, and then the moment I press the use button on this black featureless wall, it's going to teleport me into the secret, and I'm going to have to play quite well. So, what I mean to say is, I'm probably not going to get it right on the first try, and this is the edit point. So what I need to do is, I need to hit both of the switches in this room without dying. But there's so many enemies that it's really difficult to kill them all in any reasonable amount of time. Instead, I'm just going to beeline from one switch straight to the other. And only stop to dodge projectiles here and there. Ooh, that was very close. You can die after you hit the second switch. Anyway, that was attempt number 7 or so. I didn't waste too much time running through that over and over. As for the actual level here, so episode 4, the most obvious thing is, now that we're in hell, we're fighting demons instead of fairies and magical girls that shoot laser beams and whatnot. So we're going to become quite intimately familiar with the new demon bullet hell attack patterns. Oh, stop shooting at me, you guys. You're not even supposed to be attacking me yet. Anyway, the other thing about being in hell is, I believe Yukari mentioned it at the start of the level, because we're getting further and further from Gensokyo, our magic weapons are starting to lose their power a little bit. Oh my god, why am I just standing there taking hits? But if you look down in the bottom right corner, you can see that she wasn't just telling lies. As that number gets smaller and smaller, the weapons are going to keep getting weaker. Even when it just dips below about 300 or so, the magic weapons are already kind of weak at that point. But luckily for me, Hell has a bunch of conventional bullet weapons lying around. I got my shotgun back from the blue area, and this red area, I believe, has the chain gun. So when my magic weapons stop pulling their weight, I'll be able to swap back to them. So the nice thing about episode 4 is, we started off this game with just literal, normal Doom. And then in episodes 2 and 3, we saw something that's a bit more like Touhou in first person, against all the bosses we recognize. But now in episode 4, it's kind of a synthesis of the two. We're fighting demons, and the old first-person Doom strategies work against them just fine. We can pain lock them, we can take cover, we can make them hit each other. But they have their more complicated bullet hell attack patterns, so it feels like kind of a mix of the two. Okay, I remember this bit. Have to dodge from 3 angles at once. Those big green bullets that the guy... Ah, damn it. I was hoping I wouldn't need to show that off, but yes, if you fall off the back, it's a bit of a false threat. I thought I was going to look like a real cool guy for managing to dodge all this without needing to use that little safety, but oh well. A win's a win. Anyway, I think that's more than enough of the magic weapons. The double shotgun is probably going to deal more damage starting now. I guess that was just an old bullet. I was trying to find the enemy that shot it. So yeah, this area is definitely kind of a sign of things to come regarding how the game is going to play from now on. So we do have some weaving back and forth, but a lot of circle strafing, a lot of taking cover. It definitely looks a bit more like Doom now again. Goodness, that was close. Oh. There's an enemy on my right there, yep. So we're getting a good look at some of the more complicated attack patterns here. A lot of the enemies have fans of bullets, like horizontal spreads that you can either run around or try to weave through. The Mancubus have a little bit more dense patterns, like that spray of fireballs they do. A lot of enemies have a rapid fire that just tracks you around, like the Barons of Hell and the Cacodemons both have. The Cacodemons especially, you can tell because the shots are blue when they're doing their rapid fire. Big explosive shots that bounce off the walls. There's a lot of basic patterns that the enemies share, and which ones they use just depends on like what their role is. The enemies end up with kind of similar roles to regular Doom, where like the Mancubus will spray out a lot of bullets because that's what they did in regular Doom. It's just that in this kind of game, a spray of bullets means a lot more than it used to. Anyway, here's the first boss here, the Danmaku Cyber Demon. Luckily for me, it's gotten itself distracted by the imps shooting itself in the back. So I have a lot of time to just take out all these guys before I actually have to worry about him. So we've got a rapid fire spray that I just need to circle strafe. Some rockets. Come on, what are your more complicated attacks? A big shot that fires out bullets behind it. This crazy thing. Okay, here's something that I can't just circle strafe. Yeah, I actually need to dodge this one. Oh goodness! Ooh, he tricked me. What a tricker. But all in all, it's not too bad. You just shoot him until he dies. Just like usual. Alright. Next up is level 2 here. With this one, we're climbing up a big tower, for some reason. And enemies are going to keep teleporting in wave by wave. But, if you have a decent memory, you might remember that first thing I said. There's a secret at the start of every level. So where's the secret here? Well, let's go searching around for it. Could it be down in the lava somewhere? Why, yes it could. And let's just give myself a nice edit point here, just in case. I will say that even though this secret is pretty easy compared to the first one, having a splice point at the start of every level in episode 4 is going to be quite useful. The levels are pretty long and complicated from here, so I'm probably going to have to take a few tries at all of them. Anyway, as for this secret, you have so much health and so much cover, you just lure the Archviles around and it's pretty easy to grab the 4 things you need. So as I said earlier, the levels are going to be pretty long and complicated from here. There's going to be a lot of time to talk, so let's start doing deep dives into some of these enemies. The Danmaku Revenants here are actually some of the easier enemies in episode 4. Compared to regular Revenants, they fire way more shots, but the thing is that the damage and the homing has been toned down a lot. So you can see all of these shots aren't really tracking me that well at all. They're supposed to be homing, but their turning circle is very wide. Where'd that shot even go? Oh, it slammed into that wall. The Danmaku zombies are fairly simple as well. Basically, the chain gunners and the riflemen get a rapid fire shot, and the shotgunners get a burst shot, and that's it. They don't get any extra attacks. So it's fairly simple to just dodge all of it. The Danmaku Archvile here fires these flames. They either kind of stay in front of them or travel along the ground, and they also fire these random shots that just go everywhere. The flames that travel along the ground deal most of the damage, so as long as you're kind of paying a tiny bit of attention to the random shots, they won't deal that much damage to you. The Danmaku bombers here are fairly self-explanatory. Basically, if you shoot them a little bit, or if they get too close to you, then they explode into revenge bullets. If they manually detonate right next to you, you will take a fair bit of damage, so you do need to, you need to prioritize them first, but it doesn't take that much damage to get them out of the way. As for the Hell Knights, I'm sure we'll see them again. They're pretty complicated, and I'm already running my mouth pretty quickly. Can't explain everything right now. With the Danmaku Mancubi here, they have 2 different attacks. They've got the fast, big fireballs that are pretty tricky to dodge, especially when there's multiple waves at once. And then they've got the little fireballs that are slower but more plentiful. That's way easier to dodge, and I would much rather them using that attack. These guys can get a little loud, so watch out for that. Sorta like that. They have two different attacks. One of them is the rapid-fire diamond bullets that this guy on the left is doing. They're a little bit random, so you do have to give them a fair bit of distance. The second one is the big green circles that this guy was firing just a few seconds ago. Do you want to do it, buddy? Or are you going to do the other one? Yep. So these ones are a little bit less random, and they only fire a few of them. But if they crash into a wall behind you, then they explode into rebound bullets. So you need to be pretty careful with them. They're also very loud when they explode, which is kind of annoying. The imps in the back here have a fairly simple pattern, but it works quite well for them. Basically, they can fire the dark blue bullets in a rapid-fire pattern, or they can fire a horizontal fan of orange bullets. Oh, I fell. God, I'm a dummy. Falling is a bit of a cowardly move, although it does mean that you have to retake the beachhead, sort of. With this few enemies, it wasn't a huge problem. Anyway, we're about to see a lot more imps here. I remember this part because it's very difficult. The two imp patterns work together quite well, because all the fans of bullets create kind of this big, wide pattern that you have to try and weave through. It really locks you down, and then the rapid fire forces you to move. So I can't just stay in one space calmly looking for gaps in the pink bullets. The purple bullets keep pushing me around. And I'll probably just take cover here. It's going to be tricky even if I do take cover, because these guys are going to try and get me. I did do a little bit of dodging out. Let's do a little bit more, just to try and show off some real bullet hell. Oop. Yeah. I keep running into pink bullets as the purple bullets force me around. You can also go forwards and backwards. Oof, I left an enemy behind me. You can also go forwards and backwards, and the bullets will just start slamming into the ground as well because of the elevation. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Anytime I walk away from that fight, still alive, I'm basically fine. Let's see. I believe we're about to fight some Hell Knights, and some Barons as well. So the Danmaku Hell Knights and the Danmaku Barons have like 4 or 5 attacks each. The bigger, slower shots they do, like these ones, explode off of walls. And then they've also got a fan shot, and they've got a rapid fire. Or the Barons have a rapid fire, I believe the Hell Knights actually don't. So you basically just have to be on your toes with these guys. Circle strafing works against most of the stuff they do. But the bouncing shots means that if you're running too erratically, you will just run into these bouncing shots. Ugh. The fans of bullets will sometimes get you as well, even if you're trying to take cover and circle strafe. Against 1 or 2 enemies, weaving through the bullets or just making small movements will keep things a little bit easier to control. Oh, no heal, huh? Oh, it shouldn't be too difficult. These are just basic enemies. Okay, we've got a bit of a lull, well, not a lull in the action, but certainly not as much to talk about. So you might have noticed that the first level was called Burning Heat, and it had Gradius music playing as well, although I'm not sure if there was any other Gradius references running around. This level as well is called Thunder and Lightning, and the music we're listening to right now is from Raiden, or possibly a fan-made remix, I'm not really sure. I guess the idea is that because we're not in Gensokyo anymore, we're starting to take influence from, like, other scrolling shooter games. I don't know what these cube guys are called, but they only have a rapid-fire shot, and they don't have a lot of health, so they're not too difficult to deal with. So yeah, all of the first levels of Episode 4 are based off of a different scrolling shooter. Although I can't say I've played too much of any of them. I'm definitely the first to admit that I play Touhou, and the reason I play Touhou is because the bullets are nice and slow. I do play other scrolling shooters from time to time, but I'm not particularly good at any of them. Although I believe I have at least 1cc'd the first loop of Gradius 5 of all games. For some reason it was the PS2 one that really caught my fancy. I played a little bit of Raiden as well, but I'm not... like, Raiden's pretty hard. I hear that Raiden 2 is supposed to be quite difficult, that's the one I played. Definitely feels difficult. All the bullets are real fast. There's not even that many of them, but I still can't dodge them. With a giant fight like this, circle strafing is going to be my best friend, as long as I can make room for it. A lot of Doom mods do stuff like this, where they make giant piles of guys to fight, and the best strategy is definitely to let them hit each other. I've barely killed a third of them, I would say. Most of this was just themselves. Oh, I didn't realize how close I came to getting hit by that. The Danmaku Pain Elementals here, as well as firing Lost Souls at you, they can also just open their mouth and spray bullets at you. And they explode like the Danmaku bombers, but they're not too difficult to deal with. I'm kind of surprised that, like, this is supposed to be one of the last few fights. It's just not really that much of a problem. How many more we got? Like 3 or 4 by the looks of it? So the Kako Demons are basically big flying imps. They have a rapid fire shot and a whatchamacallit, a fan shot. The Arachnotrons are definitely a lot more deadly, so let's take them out first. As for the invisible demons here, the melee-only enemies are given just a single shot to their name. I guess the idea is that they're trying to run at you and restrict your movement, so they don't really need that many bullets to still be fairly deadly in this context. I do like that the invisible demons have faster and kinda dull blue-colored bullets compared to everyone else. So it's kind of keeping in with their role as things that you're less likely to notice. Like, you need to react quickly to see the invisible demons, and you need to react quickly to dodge their fast, dull shots. Yeah, the regular demons have these slower, brighter shots that are a little easier to see coming. Oh boy, I'm gonna let myself get penned in if I stay here too long. Yeah, gotta cut left instead. I really need to take these Mancubi out first. Ugh, but these guys are pinning me down as well. The flying cubes maybe aren't that much of a problem. Their shots will just hit the ground if I run around enough. But I took them out first anyway, because I wasn't really thinking. Alright, we're at the home stretch now. I haven't really played enough Raiden to understand if this is, like, supposed to be some big reference here. I can tell that there's lightning striking the beacons every time enemies spawn. Lightning is Raiden. But it doesn't really bring anything to mind from what little I've seen from Raiden 2. I guess because we're in Hell, the environments don't really match up with the scrolling shooters. Surprisingly few scrolling shooters take place in Hell. Actually, now that I think about it, Touhou is just about the only one I can think of. Even Touhou doesn't go there very often. Oh no, 2 Danmaku Archvials and no corpses for them to resurrect. Whatever will I do? Okay. Yes. One very rude thing that episode 4 does is it doesn't give you boss saves anymore, like the first few episodes. I didn't mention it in the last level, but in this level I might actually die. And come on, no boss saves, I have to do the entire level again if I die here, that's just rude. So with the data buses here, there's going to be a few of them, so I will just pain lock these ones without remorse. We can see the attack pattern once I'm done. Yeah, the cover and the pain locking makes this a little bit easy, huh? But there's still one more for me to show off. Hey buddy, what's your attack pattern? It's basically just random fireballs. It's not too difficult to find the gap, as long as there's only one of them. But still, that was pretty easy, right? Like, what would I even make the save point for? That was easier than the first boss. The Danmaku Bruiser demons are absolute jerks. They fire all sorts of patterns, there's way more than I can describe. But the big one is the one that travels along the ground like that, and fires bullets as it goes. If you get hit by the actual explosions along the ground, you take 1,000,000 damage. So I'm kind of keeping an eye on that in the corner of my eye. Yeah, if I ever get hit by any of this stuff, whoop, I'll suddenly take a lot of damage. The incidental hits every now and again don't do too much, but it does mean that my health is now low enough where I may instantly die if I'm not paying attention to the ground. Okay, it wasn't too bad after all. But yeah, I can't stress enough, that ground shot would have killed me. Alright, now for Trial of the Masked Hornfinch. Ugh, it's a bit of a mouthful. But first, the secret. And that means I get another lovely splice point. Alright, this is the first time I imagine I'm going to do this secret on the first try. It is a very easy one. It's just a bunch of the very simplest enemy desperately trying to track me down with their little pea shooters while I go back and forth. Every time I change directions, I do have to cross over their attacks, but the thing is, it's fairly easy to dodge them at this speed, and even if I do get hit by 1 or 2 bullets, it's just not that much damage. There you go. So here's another beacon. The exact reason that I'm collecting these beacons will become apparent, well, next video. Soon. So, Trial of the Masked Hornfinch here, now that I've had a little bit of time to remember how you're supposed to say that tongue twister. It's based on Ikaruga. Ikaruga's another scrolling shooter that I have played a little bit of. It's supposed to be a classic, so I tried it a few times. Basically, the gimmick of Ikaruga, if you're not familiar, is that you can swap your ship between... Well, it's not blue and red, it's actually black and white in that game. But blue and red looks cooler in Doom, I guess. And if you are red, then red bullets will not... Oh, sorry. If you're black, then black bullets won't hurt you, and if you're white, then white bullets won't hurt you. So you have to swap between the two as you're going through the attack patterns. It's kind of a cool game. It's also got some weird scoring mechanics that I never really got too deep into. Whenever I play a scrolling shooter, I'm generally more interested in survival than trying to get a top score. I'm not really that good at any of them. So there's no such mechanic in this game. I can't swap my Doom guy from blue to red, or green in this case, I suppose. But you can definitely see that, like, the entire level is designed around at least the visual element of this split between two colors. Let me go back and get some health just so... Oh yeah, some ammo too, there we go. That Berserk pack will full heal me if I pick it up, so I'll see if I take a lot of damage here or not. So now we're back to kind of a bullet hell kind of situation, where I'm just in a corridor. No circle strafing, no cover, I've just actually got to dodge this. So I need to lure the purple bullets around in ways where I can make gaps in them. Kinda like this. With these fast movements, I should create gaps in the center that I can move back into. And because I'm firing so many rockets, there just aren't enough pink bullets to really pressure me that much. In fact, I believe most of the enemies are dead now. I didn't even... Oh wait, no, I did take a hit. Ah, what a shame. I thought I didn't even take damage. The Danmaku Revenants are normally very easy to deal with, but when I have to just charge straight at them like this, it kind of gives their homing rockets a bit of a chance to shine. And again, with the Danmaku Archviles, when I can't just circle strafe around these fire patterns, I do actually need to interact with them a little bit. Okay, this next room that we're about to fight into is a bit of a doozy. But we are going to have quite a couple of friends help us out. One of the friends is infighting. There's going to be a lot of infighting in this next room. And the other friend is this little guy here. Shield your eyes if you're photosensitive. So, this is the invincibility power-up. It's the first one in the game. Well, actually, no, there's a couple more in little secrets here and there, but I didn't bother picking them up. This one's basically mandatory, though. This room is a real bastard if you're not completely invincible for the first half of it. By fighting behind the enemies like this, I'm also causing the ones in the other corners to shoot the revenants. So the couple of revenants that I've left alive will now start infighting with the other ones, hopefully. Okay, you can stop shielding your eyes now if you're photosensitive. Although this isn't the best game for that in either case. Anyway, now that I've taken out the bulk of most of them, I can kind of just run around in circles and let the elevation do most of the dodging for me. The bullets are going to run into the ground as long as I'm moving in circles like this. I think I left a few too many Hell Knights alive. They have the more complicated attack patterns, and it looks like they're the last group I'm going to have to deal with. Oh, come on. That guy must have been on full health when I started firing at him. There's a huge amount of plasma on the ground, but trust me, I'm going to want as much of it as I can get. Actually, no, I think now I can finally maybe finish the fight off with plasma. But when I said this level was long and complicated, I wasn't kidding. This is only the first third of it right here. I also got Hell Knights behind me. I'm kind of trying to dodge them on instinct when I should just be killing them to remove the flank. There we go. Alright, let's quickly top ourselves back up. I might actually want more rockets than this. I think I've actually got more plasma than rockets now. Here we've got a single Danmaku Bruiser. The doorway makes the fight a little bit of a joke compared to when I was dancing around 3 of them. He's come out now though. Too late. So again we get a choice of which fight we want to do first, the blue fight or the red fight. The blue fight's a lot harder, so in the interest of, just in case I mess up and have to do this video again, we'll do the blue fight first to waste less of my time. So, we've gone from something that looks kind of like bullet hell to something that looks a lot more like Doom. We're going to be taking a lot of cover and doing a lot of pain blocking here. These databases cannot really be dodged in these tiny corridors, so I need to play hide and seek with them. I can pain lock them one at a time, just so long as I'm really only fighting one at once. Which means leading them around, keeping a mental map of where they are, and making sure that these flying enemies don't really pin me in. Oh no, I have done a bad. By walking up that staircase, I've accidentally triggered this part of the fight way too early, so now we're circle strafing instead. I have a lot of plasma on the ground in the hub room, so as long as I keep my health, I don't care how much plasma I have to spend. Okay, maybe this was actually fine. Phew. Playing hide and seek is a little bit easier, but I guess this was a little bit more exciting. I shouldn't just use all of my rockets, I'll need a few later. No, not that weapon, the plasma. Oh, I can't swap to the plasma rifle because I'm out of plasma. That explains it. I did have to spend a lot of it to kind of panic my way through the big fight. So yeah, this doesn't look too impressive from a bullet hell perspective, but I guess we can just appreciate the fact that I'm okay at Doom as well, because this is kind of what I would be doing if I was just playing regular Doom. Dance around in the center so all the bullets touch the floor instead of me, cause infighting, all the good stuff. Oh right, the mid-boss. So we've got another Danmaku Cyber Demon and a bunch of lost souls to deal with. I'm going to need some plasma for this guy, please. In this giant room, he isn't too difficult to deal with, just so long as you're ready to react to his rockets. The rockets deal like, I don't know, 90, 100 damage, so you really don't want to get hit with them while you're trying to pay attention to his more dense shots. Like when you're dodging through this thing here, as you weave through these bullets, just pay very close attention to him. Make sure he's not firing rockets at you. Alright, the Danmaku Bruiser here again. He's in the doorway, there's not much he can do to me. This is not exactly the best environment to put him in. I can actually even just weave through his bullets because all of the densest parts are just crashing into the doorway. This red area is a little bit more hectic than the blue area. Well, it would be if I managed to play hide and seek correctly. It's going to be about as hectic as the blue area because I took the blue area a little bit fast. But there's just not as many bullets. There's more melee enemies and tanky enemies like the Kako demons. And what that ends up meaning is, as long as you're moving in a way that lures them around into the correct spots, you're not really going to get penned in by them, and they're not really going to fire enough bullets to be that much of a threat. Okay, I've used all my rockets, but that's fine. This is where I was planning to use them, just to thin out the herd a little bit before I had to rely on plasma. The way the Red Room works is these Barons of Hell keep spawning in every time I kill one, and every time I kill a Baron of Hell, the platforms in the back get a little bit lower, which both makes the fight a little bit easier, it kind of hides these guys from me, but it also means I can eventually jump down there, and that's where the key is. I believe that's everything. Yeah, so you can see, even though this fight there's no cover to take, it's a lot easier than the Blue Room. As long as you don't fall into this pit like a dummy. Alright, so how much plasma I got? A fair bit, looks like 900. Okay. And a few rockets and a whole bunch of shotgun shells. Okay. Should be enough to do the final stretch here. So here we just have to fight a whole bunch of Danmaku Barons. They have a lot of health, so I'll probably get bored trying to shotgun them to death. And also, there's not a lot of healing left, so maybe I should be using the plasma rifle just to finish the fight a little bit quicker anyway. Yeah, you can see that their explosive shots are kind of slamming into me from all sides. It's basically a health tax. There's no way I could actually dodge it properly. I just need to pay attention to the forward bullets, make sure I don't get hit by any of those, because those are the real damage dealers there. And the explosive shots pressure me to finish the fight a little bit quicker. Although that's it, I'm not spending any more plasma than that. I need 600. A few rockets will serve me well here as well. Okay, now to the shotgun. They should be fairly low. I did spray quite a fair bit of plasma into them. It's almost reminiscent of the very first fight I pointed out in video 1, huh? In a room this large, with this few amount of enemies, even with these complicated attack patterns, circle strafing is going to get you most of the way there. I wish they had just one shot that went omnidirectionally. Just something that said, like, no, even if you're circle strafing, you still need... Oh wait, yeah, kind of like that. He fired an explosive shot into the back of his buddy, so it made a circle happen. You should just do that more often, my man. Anyway, 600 plasma, here's the boss. And I don't think I'm gonna die, but let's make it official. There is a second mastermind behind me. So the idea is, they have a lot of shots. Ugh, that's gonna seal my fate, I think. They have a lot of different kinds of attack patterns that are really difficult to keep track of. As long as I stay on the move, I can dodge most of it. But the big shots tend to explode. Alright, I do have a bunch of healing on the ground. Maybe I'm fine. Just like regular Doom, the plasma rifle is your very best friend against these guys, which is why I insisted on 600 plasma. I can keep one pane locked while I keep the other in the corner of my eye. When they're doing this attack here that fires big shotgun blasts of bullets, that's when I try to slow down a little bit. Whereas this one I need to speed up because they explode off walls. Basically, the easier the shot is to just dodge randomly. Or not randomly, sorry. What's the word I'm looking for? The easier it is to dodge without needing to rely on, like, randomly dodging things behind me, the slower I can go. Whereas if the shots are bouncing off the walls, I want to be fast so that I leave, like, the bouncing bullets behind in my wake. That's kind of the only strategy I'm using. I'm dodging the rest on instinct. I didn't do a fantastic job, unfortunately. But hey, I have the save point, I guess. I could give it another try in, like, a bonus video. Okay. Whew, it's been a while since we talked to anyone, huh? Yeah, Yukari's having trouble sending communications down into hell, it seems. So we get our choice of which one we want for episode 4, or level 4, sorry. The entire thing is episode 4. But before I make my choice, I would like to point 2 things out. Firstly, there's a secret down there. Remember, there's a secret in every level. But also, I think I've played just about enough Doom for one day. We're going to split episode 4 into 3 different videos because it's long and it's hard. So, yeah. See you all next time.